Welcome back to Mud Lake Ranch. Today we're here with a rifle from Ruger. This is the Ruger American Gen 2 chambered in 400 Legend. And we'll get into what 400 Legend is in just a moment. But first we're going to walk you through the Ruger American Gen 2. Unique to this chambering of this rifle, this is the only Ruger American Gen 2 that does not come with a fluted barrel. When I got it out of the box, I was surprised to see it not fluted, and then I looked at all of the offerings on the site. And this one is the only one that does not come with the fluting, and I don't know the reason behind that, but it was just an interesting observation. So let's walk through the Ruger American Gen 2. First up, the gun is light, coming in at 6.2 pounds, 41¼ inches overall length. It has a free float 20-inch barrel, and the barrel and the receiver and the bolt handle are all professionally Cerakoted, and this one happens to be in gunmetal gray. The synthetic stock is splatter coated gray Gen 2. This is a great grippy feel. It's not overly aggressive, but definitely provides additional grip versus the standard synthetic stock without any sort of coating. At the rear of the gun, it has a rubber buttstock that has special geometry built in to help absorb the shock coming into your shoulder. This is a very soft and forgiving buttstock. We'll get you in there close to look at the geometric cuts into this thing that provide ample shock absorption. You'll notice here at the back of the stock there is a removable plate. The stock is adjustable from 12 inches to 13.75 inches, and you can find additional, more refined butt plate options to adjust this to the shooter on shop Ruger. The stock comes pre-fit with a low comb to help with use with magnified optics to allow your cheek weld to align perfectly with your scope. And speaking of optics, it does come with a Picatinny rail up on top here, and that is the only sight option. There's no pre-drilling for your traditional sights. Picatinny rail for your red dot or scope of your choice. And with this being 400 Legend, the optimal range is around 200 yards, and it drops off about 26 inches from 200 at 300 yards. So we'll get into the whole 400 Legend thing in just a minute here. Up front, it features a factory installed radio brake. It is threaded 11/16 to 24, so you can run a brake or a other muzzle device if you choose. And interestingly, they also offer buttstock weights if you're running something heavier up front, say a suppressor or a larger brake. You can balance out your rifle to your liking and also help absorb some of the felt recoil by adding weight to the gun. Underneath, we have a sling post in the front and in the rear. The rear one is actually angled forward, which would be angled up if you were riding on your shoulder. And that's the first time I've seen that, and I do like that design because, one, it's flush with the stock itself, and two, normally you're carrying a sling on your shoulder upright, so the sling post being at that angle would match the angle of the sling when you're riding your shoulder, as opposed to being pulling against the threads in the stock. So that's pretty cool. I like that design a lot. It's aesthetically interesting, and it's a design improvement over traditional sling post placement. The trigger on this gun is a Ruger Marksman trigger. It is user adjustable from 3 to 5 pounds, and it is very crisp. I've done a few dry fire tests of this gun, and it is a extremely smooth break, and I'm looking forward to actually firing some rounds. The safety on this gun is a 3-position safety. I noticed something interesting about it that I don't know if is intentional or not, and you can comment if you'd like to let me know on that. But in the safe position, the bolt does not operate, and I've noticed a few times if I operated this, like rattled it, it was walking out of that, but now it's not, so that's good. Maybe it's worked itself out, but the first few times I was able to run this, and the safety would come loose on its, or go into the second position on its own, and now it's not, so that's great to hear. Now the second position, safe, and the safety, so you got safe, bolt won't operate. Now see how that just worked. The safety did operate just now, even though I had it all the way to the rear. So one it doesn't do it, a couple of rattles, and it does pop up. That could be by design, I do not know, so comment below and let me know on that. In the second position, you can operate the bolt, but you cannot pull the trigger. And in the off position, the bolt can be operated and the trigger can be pulled. It's a very crisp, light trigger, and I'm looking forward to shooting something with this gun. The trigger guard is a little smaller than I would like. It looks, I mean, it's kind of a standard size, but most stuff's coming now a little oversized for the gloved hunter. Definitely smaller than a lot of the guns I've reviewed as of late. Usually they're squared off more and a little bit bigger, and they boast about having the oversized trigger. Remove the bolt, very simple. Has a bolt catch button on the left side. Push the button in, the bolt comes right out. That was very easy, super slick to get you out, get you opened up so you can either do your bore sighting through the barrel or to clean the rifle. That was extremely easy to remove. So we covered the basic cosmetic and functionality of this gun. I believe we've covered the weight, that we've covered the overall length, we've covered the barrel length, we've covered the fact it's not fluted, we've covered the scope options, we've covered the comb, we've covered the length of pull. It is super lightweight. I really like that. So all right, so stick around to the end, or jump ahead to the end if you'd like, to get my final thoughts. We're going to be shooting the Ruger American Gen 2 in 400 Legend in just a moment. But first I want to talk to you a little bit about the bullets here that we're going to be shooting. Ammunition sponsor of today's video is Remington Ammunition, and today we're shooting Remington Core Locked. These are Remington Core Locked 210 grain Core Locked Soft Point, or SP. So thank you to Remington. The folks at Remington sent me a text to let me know that this was coming off their loader, the first 400 Legend, and they wanted to know if I wanted to get it on the channel, and of course I did. Why does it exist? So why does 400 Legend exist? There are 6 to 8 states, maybe more, maybe less. There's around 6 to 8 states that require straight wall cartridges for their hunting season, or they have optional hunting seasons for straight wall cartridges, much like muzzleloader seasons or shotgun seasons or primitive weapons type seasons. Straight wall cartridges are considered safer because they have a less effective range. So effective ballistically at 200 yards. At 300 yards, it falls off about 26-ish inches. Don't crucify me, just it's an average approximate. Depends on where you're zeroed and depends on what bullet you're running. It's a very comparable cartridge to a 30-30, which to me doesn't make a lot of sense, but the bullet drop at 200 yards is virtually identical. This is citing Mr. Ron Spomer. He has an article about this cartridge, and it states that 30-30 is ballistically similar brothers to the 400 Legend, and their bullet drop approximately 2.5 inches at 200 yards, 2.57, 2.55, something like that. So they were very similar. One major difference is the 30-30, which you're all familiar with, is a 30 caliber and a bottleneck cartridge. So lots of pressure, smaller bullet. This is a wider cartridge, a .39 diameter bullet. And we're gonna get you zoomed in here, but we have a 5.56, a 300 Blackout, a 350 Legend, and the 400 Legend. And I think that the 400 Legend probably came into existence, one, just to get a little more firepower, a little more bullet size, bullet diameter, a little bit more velocity, effective range 200, like I said. It's a little bit punchier than your 350. Excited to get the 400 Legend out here on the range. So 400 Legend, purposely built, designed, manufactured, invented for hunting in states that either have the straight wall cartridge requirement or straight wall cartridge optional hunting seasons. Now we have a cartridge that is effective at 200 plus yards, that is a serious bullet diameter. Now let's get this thing on paper, and even though my state doesn't require the use of that cartridge, it'll be great to have on hand if I go on a hunt in a state that requires it, or if I just want to use it on my property. A tuner shot is not even an option for a lot of the hunters in this area, and where I hunt, it's typically 50 to 90 yards are the average shooting distances that we have for opportunities, both in the state public lands and on this private property. My first couple shots were not even on the paper, so I grabbed the CV Life bore sight and bore sighted it on the zero of the F250 on my own tailgate. Not recommended, but it was a safe direction. Gun was empty, and it was only like 25 yards. So hopefully this gets me on paper. Let's go see if we got anything. All right, as you guys know, I can be a little Lex Dixit sometimes, and I went left instead of right, as usual. So 40 click to the right adjustment in my first shot with that hit the bullseye. This was my first shot after the major adjustment and my second shot after the major adjustment, and we're talking half MOA at 100 yards. This gun is accurate. And all that extra garbage I got up there is because I wasn't even hitting paper out of the gate. So I taped off all previous holes that were obviously larger, so I could figure out if they were, 40 cal and not, 22s. Taped those all off, put up some extra paper, and figured out where I was at, and I was a full foot to the left, and I was high. Couple quick adjustments, and we were on. Check out these little yardage markers that I've added, so when we have video downrange, you guys can tell where we're at. I have the same thing on the 200 yard target, which we're going to be shooting at next. As you can imagine, I'm very pleased with the accuracy out of this gun so far. Supposedly the bullet drops around 2.5 at 200. Got my magnification all the way up. This right on scope has a parallax adjustment, so I just adjusted to get us in focus at the longer distance. I'm gonna do a couple on paper, and then I'll try for the steel down there so you can get an audible. I don't think I got white. Yeah. This, I think 8-inch steel at 200. Might be 6-inch. I'm gonna go back to the target, so we have 3 on the paper. Well, we got 3 on it now. Let's see how we did. So this wasn't as convincing. I got 1 that's a good shot and 2 that aren't. 1 is 6 inches low and 3 inches left. 1 inch 4 inches low and 7 inches left. We do have a significant crosswind. It's blowing pretty hard here today, but the one is good on height in about 2 inches left. So we'll take a couple more shots. Maybe I was just being a little bit in a hurry or something on those. I'm going to assume the drop on the, what is this weight of this stuff? This 210 grain is got to be closer to 6 inches. Yeah, this says it's 8.5 inch drop at 200 yards with 1,543 feet per second. So the speed drops off 300 feet per second and it drops by 8.5 inches, which would explain why I'm so low. I'm sure that the 2.5 inch measurement, maybe that's off of 150 yard zero. But now I know where I have to aim. Maybe I should have read the box first. No, not to read the instructions. We're going to adjust for the wind and for the bullet drop on this next shot. You're probably wondering, well, how did you hit the steel? I made a educated guess and I aimed for high right corner. Steel don't have corners, but high right corner of the round steel plate. And I'm guessing I hit the lower left corner. And when I went to adjust the steel bit me. So I had a little cut in my finger. So if you see any blood, don't freak out. All right, I know where to aim now. All right. I can see them. I'm just a little bit to the left. That last shot I might have overcompensated. All right, let's wrap this video up. That's looking a lot better, folks. That's 200. Got one in the white, 2 at 2 MOA, 3 at 2 MOA, because this one's only out 2 inches. These two are out 2 inches. That one's 3. But I'm guessing the last shot I was aiming like up here, trying to overcompensate because I could see this group forming over here. But hey, we did great. This gun's awesome. Final thoughts on the Ruger American Gen 2. We had a great time here at the range with this gun today. This is the Ruger American Gen 2 chambered in 400 Legend. A new caliber, fairly new caliber, purposely designed for the states that have either requirements or special seasons for straight wall cartridges. As you can see, it shot very well, super accurate at 100 yards. And if you've watched this channel, you know that I can sometimes struggle with accuracy, and this gun made me a better shooter. This gun shot extremely well once we got this thing on target. And if you stuck around for this whole video, that was just one box of shells. So 20 rounds, and most of them are in the kill zone. And once we got the thing on target, they all were extremely accurate, lethal shot placements. So thank you to Remington for providing the ammo for this video. Thank you to Right-On for providing the scope for this video. Thank you to Gators for providing the Ballistic Mil-Spec sunglasses eye protection that I'm wearing in today's video. The Ruger American Gen 2. What a gorgeous gun. We rate our guns on practicality, accuracy, and coolness factor. And I think you are going to be aligned with me on my thoughts. Coolness factor, we do last. Practicality. This gun MSRP is at $749. I'm not a retailer of firearms. I just review guns online. No firearm sales ever. So practicality score. I love that it's Cerakoted. That is minimal effort for maintenance of the firearm. It really helps mitigate the possibility of rust unless you've chipped any area of your Cerakote. And they went right down to Cerakoting even the bolt handle and the muzzle to match, and they got a little accent on the bolt knob there where it's a slightly different color. I do like the global shaped bolt handle here. I love the 3-position safety as well. It's one of my favorite safety styles that there are in a bolt action hunting rifle. For other gun applications it wouldn't make much sense, but for a bolt gun, when you're in hunting situations and you're either walking, hiking in a box blind or in a tree stand, the safety is a critical component to make sure your bolt doesn't become disengaged for any reason, and that you are not turning the safety off until you're ready to shoot at your acquired target. I love that it comes with a low cheek comb. I love that it comes with this geometric rubberized butt pad that is very forgiving. I did get a couple taps to the hat, but nothing too bad. It could benefit from an additional sling post up front so that you can run a bipod, monopod off the front in addition to your sling. I wish that it was fluted. It's the only model that's not fluted, and I thought that was so bizarre, and I don't know if I'll ever get a real straight answer on that. Super practical trigger, user adjustable, 3 to 5 pounds. That's great. Scope mounting option, Picatinny rail is my favorite. I'm surprised it doesn't come drilled and tapped for standard sights, given that its effective range is only 200. And a 100-yard gun, 50 to 100-yard gun, you'd be safe with your standard open sights. So I think that that would be something that could be an option for those that don't want to invest in a scope. An optic can be an expensive addition to the gun. I love this sling post. I love the angle of that sling post. That is really cool. I love the grip. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's got a contoured grip up front that is really aggressive. It's a great feel in the hand and gives you a positive grip point. So you can get a clamp with your fingertips as well as the back side of your thumb, and your thumb rides in there very nice no matter where you position it. But obviously this would be the ideal positioning, right at that crook. Very, very cool. I love the gray Gen 2 splatter pattern. It's quite attractive. It adds a bit of camouflage type action without being camouflage. Practicality score, affordability, comes in at an affordable price point. It comes in a unique new cartridge. You might not be able to find that readily available on the store shelves yet, but you saw what happened with 350 Legend, and for a while store shelves were just heaping with that stuff from every manufacturer. If you wanted any kind of bullet, that was out there, and it was affordable. I imagine this will follow suit. You'll find affordable, readily available soon. Currently, not so much. So for now, it's a unique, possibly hard to find caliber for a little while. But now that we got green box, you should be able to find it really soon on the shelves. Practicality, short, light footprint. I'm going to say accuracy counts into practicality as well. I'm going to go 8.6 out of 10 on the practicality score. It's a really nice package. One thing I didn't discuss, and one of the things I probably would ding it on, is the mag. I like that it is an AR style box mag. But one of the downfalls is when it's empty and inserted, you can't operate the bolt because it has the last round bolt hold open. So if you have the mag in empty, the bolt won't operate. And it's surprising if you weren't expecting it, because a standard bolt action with a standard box mag, you can still operate the bolt and just, you know, feel how the gun runs with the mag still installed. I mean, that could potentially add to safety. So accuracy was on point. It's probably one of very few guns that I've shot half MOA at 100 with ease and within the first half box. This gun is very accurate, and I'm going to give it probably my highest score ever. I'm going to go 9.8. I have to go a little bit below 10 because I am searching for that holy grail gun that makes me shoot 10 rings all day long, and I'm sure they're out there. But for such a light gun, it handled the recoil good, and it did allow me to shoot amazingly accurately. It's gonna be quite the grocery getter. Finally, coolness factor. This gun is super cool, packed with packages, especially for a bolt action. Just has a great aggressive look, styling, all the curves, man. It's like a sports car. right up to the radial muzzle brake, the awesome splatter coated finish, the black accents that really set this thing off, and its gunmetal gray Cerakote. Man, this thing is just a sweet looking rifle. I am freaking proud to own this thing. This thing is sick. So, coolness factor. It is a bolt action hunting rifle, so we're not going to get too carried away here, but I'm going to go 9.2. It is very, very, very cool gun. I have very few negatives on this rifle from the mag, only because I'm not a big fan of steel box mags. They are readily available box mags, and I don't know if they run off. I think they're a specific footprint, so if you need a spare, get one. Thank you for Ruger for sending out the Ruger American Gen 2. If you found this video useful, helpful, or interesting, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe.